The guy that hangs out with all the musicians? The drummer, yeah. In Chris's story of how the world is transformed through grace and love. And I thought maybe it'd be good for you just to see how you've been doing it, to see what we're about. So I have a couple questions for you. I know you're nervous. You get used to it though. All right, so one of the questions was just tell a little bit about your life before you came here.
Well, I grew up in a Pentecostal home in Missouri. My dad was a pastor right there. Yeah. And just kind of religion was forced on me, and you know, week in, week after, I'd have to go to church and you know, do the right thing. When I got a certain age, I was like, you know, I'm done with this. I'll never go back into another church. I want to do everything that I was taught, you know, that was wrong. So I went out there and I'd done everything under the sun that was against God's will, and developed a really bad drug addiction for about 10 to 12 years, and you know, until God brought me back to church.
Yeah, brought you to a place essentially in New Orleans.
Yeah.
A little bit about that. We're at the lowest of the
Well, I was down there on Bourbon Street playing drums, and it just got really, really bad. There was people around me were dying. My roommate passed away, he overdosed on drugs, and I just got numb to God's will and what what His plan for me was, and it was just really, really bad, really dark.
So you're in New Orleans, and suddenly you're in Hudsonville, Michigan at a church.
Yeah.
So help me land the plane on that one. How did it?
Well, I met Kyle Warmington on Craigslist. We become really good friends, and
First, your parents pick you up.
first my parents come to New Orleans and pick me up and say, we got to get you out of there. We brought me to West Michigan, and I posted some stuff on Craigslist, and I met Kyle Warmington, and he stayed for like 3 hours and 12 minutes at my house, and I was like, was like, man, he doesn't know me. Just like, I just got a good feeling about you, and I think you're lost, you know. So he introduced me to Pastor Dave, and we immediately fell in love with him. So that's how we ended up here at Sunrise.
So they just said you need to come to church?
Yeah.
And you didn't ever want to go to church again?
No, I didn't want to go to church. I just kept coming up with reasons why I was too busy to go to church. You know, it was like they were all just like bad reasons why I had stuff to do that I really didn't have to do. And then when I got here, I just kept trying to come up with something that was wrong with it. You know, it's like, oh, they don't accept me, or I don't look like them, and I don't talk like them. And I definitely don't talk like them.
Yeah, that's So what, like, you had all these reasons. You didn't want to be here. You didn't want to go to church again. Why'd you keep coming back?
Well, it just seemed genuine. When I got here, people would come up every Sunday after Sunday, and like ask how I was doing, ask about my job, and just felt genuine. And I was like, I don't understand why these people really care. You know, like my background in church is like, you know, it's just kind of say hi to the visitors and keep going. But these people kept on and on every Sunday, just religiously telling me, you know, if you need anything, give me a call. You know, I had some job issues, and you know, there's people that offered me jobs and stuff like that.
So there was something intriguing about how welcoming and graceful.
Oh yes, yes.
So you said to me at once you didn't look like you belonged in a church, or your wife better once said looked like you got ran over by a truck.
Yeah.
So you didn't feel any other church would welcome you, or?
Well, just the church that I grew up in, you know, was all suit and tie and all that, and I just come in looking like crap, and just kind of was like, man, these people they don't have anything in common with me. They don't know anything about where I've been and what I've seen, and they eventually just broke those walls down that I had built up.
So how did love and grace then change you?
Definitely give me a different outlook on church organizations and people in general that I had formed in my mind about the way church people were.
So through those relationships, God began to change in you your heart?
Yes.
Okay. Explain more. That was not a yes or no.
Okay. Yeah, it just brought me and Angie finally, you know, they went through the process of getting married. We had a son, and just brought my whole family closer together and me off the wrong path that I was traveling on. And
just through people welcoming and
yes,
loving you. That's
just people that just wouldn't like give up, so to speak, you know.
Last question. If there's one thing you could say to people about how their love and grace transformed your life, what would you tell people here?
I would just say thanks for loving on me and my family and caring week after week when you really didn't have to.
Thanks. Appreciate it. You did well. What's interesting is a few of you in here just did this, and it changed one person, which interestingly, a couple months ago, Chris and I and Angie and CJ have a picture of it, stood on the pier, and they had dated for 10 years and had a son and finally got married, and it was freezing. And I think we have one more picture. And it's fascinating how your grace and your love not only influenced one, but it influenced 2 and 3. And this is how it works. How do you change the world? You just start with one person who influences another, who influences another. If people ask you, what's your church about? I want you to tell them we're about changing the world. Life's too short to do something mediocre as it is, right? And if they ask, well, how do you change the world, which ultimately they will, we just say we share God's grace and love. That's all we do. God does the rest.